So how do we then say that, you know, the conduct of this was better and in what respect? Because
no, I want to believe the
at percentage. That time, yeah, well, when it was used, even though on the election day proper, the reverse was the case. Because in some other areas where the smart card reader performance was low, they had better results on the election day. And areas where it would appear to be good, they had lower returns on the day. So, but it wasn't deployed this time, particularly the hinterland. If we had tried it in the hinterland, we might have gotten some experience or knowledge.
Hinterland, that's where I'm going. I guess the percentage that we are talking about will have happened in the hinterland, and of course, maybe due to network issues and so on. But about the percentage, you know, me, I'm a lawyer. I'm not a statistician, so I will not be able to be accurate about the statistics. But all I know is that definitely we have to work on all these things. Where I say that it is better is that I know that definitely, based on the workload INEC had, they are overestimated or underrated, not knowing that it's an enormous task.
Speaking about the turnout, you know, in 2015, at the end of the day, reactions are always mixed. There were people who said, oh, I won't come out again to vote. And now you have a similar thing. So what kind of impact do those comments have? Is there any way we can gauge those of them who are frustrated as a result of the system? Because there was supposed to be improvement after 2015. So do those frustrations manifest itself in voter turnout?
Obviously, government performance. If the government is not performing, people look at it that, why will I go and waste my time to vote? I'll just sit down. 2, 3, issues of security are there too. Then maybe issue of some people's economy of views or sentiments or idiosyncrasies. So many things play out. But you see, that's why I appreciate Kweremadu when he said that he did not take his victory for granted. Right. The Nigerian politicians have been taking the voters for granted for a long time. And like one man called himself a constituted authority. No, it is the people that are the constituted authority, because power lies with them. And thank God we are there now. When you see, when we started, they said that the vote is the power, that you can use the vote. They said the vote can never count in Nigeria. But we thank God the vote has started counting. It has not gone there. We are still work in progress. And to me, by the grace of God, I'm happy that indeed when I started, they said, no, I'm a madman. And I said, it's all right. But this is a divine calling. And I know that God will move us that indeed what happens in other climes can be done here in Nigeria. So I'm happy now that many people are coming and joining and putting heads together that, yes, we'll take it to various levels.
What do you propose we do about these 91 political parties?
No.
And if you will, the dismal performance of some in this election.
Yeah, maybe on this platform too, I said that is a percentage. In other climes, that's what happens. If you don't score a number of votes within your locality and all over the country, as it were, if it's a big country, then definitely you can't be on the ballot. And that's why, of course, it caused all these challenges too. 95, 71, and look at it. Of the 71, some few hours to the election, some of them withdrew. Those are pretenders, and there must be consequences for it. Because they are part of those that are putting all this stress on.
Is it by force to contest the president?
Oh, that's it now. So there must be consequences because it's not by force. Not that the Constitution says you have the free to express yourself, but then that does not mean that the expense of the taxpayers' money. If you are not able to, then definitely you now pay cost to the system.
The shocker is that about 105 more are waiting in line to be registered after this election.
Yes, that's where we are going, that those 105 more, fortunately, they are off-season elections. So they will start their popularity and ability from the off-season election. And again, thank God, the local government elections too are nearby. So they should start. We can't just continue like this. Anyone do, we don't do things anyhow. We can continue. If not, okay, so we'll have 500, at the end of the day, we'll have 500 people, 500 political parties. That's where we are going.
A good job taking
50,000 contestants.
All right,
let's look at all this.
Do you think, Mr. Gwande, that we may, because people express this optimism as well, that having seen the 2015 elections and the introduction of the smart card reader, we were going to take it a step further, but it didn't appear we were successful. You think this time around we will be successful in the next elections?
Obviously. next election, next Saturday, or next election,
not next Saturday.
2023.
Yes,
2023. We have a whole lot of things to do. You agree with me, including the media, that all of us have seen that we have a lot of work to do. And all of us who work is not about leaving it to some people. All of us are all professionals in this. You see, when democracy started 20 years ago, this leg of democracy, nobody thought it would be this long. We thought it would be a ragtag like before. But now it has come to stay. And a 20-year-old man or a 20-year-old girl, if care is not taken in some parts of the country, is always even preparing to be a grandmother because he will have had a child, and of course he is now a parent. So that experience is there for us to all of us to fall back to. And you agree that we have gone too far in this democratic journey from the era of just writing results in some corner to the era now that the vote is counting, from the era of incumbency factor to the era of demystifying big-time bigwigs. Definitely we are moving. And you can be sure that we'll move further.
How soon do you expect the president now to assent to the electoral amendment bill? Because his initial doubts about signing that was that it was going to cause some level of confusion for the 2019 elections. Now that the elections is done, do you expect, for instance, say the 9th Assembly will get this speedily passed to the president and he will assent to it?
You are in the spirit. That's what my mind was when I was in the bathroom taking my bath before coming. Part of the work we'll do, the first thing, they are not going to amend it, they are not going to sign that amendment bill. It has to go back to the National Assembly for further alterations and work on to accommodate all these issues. Because obviously we all know that there are parts of the problem that we have as a result of the Electoral Act. Yeah. Does INEC have the power to sanction political parties who do not conform with its regulation? Can INEC prosecute people?
You want them to have those such powers?
Why not? You see, why can you back without biting?
No, even though...
Why are you giving rights?
Even though, okay, let's say it's INEC.
Authority.
Let's say it's INEC, but some still argue that it's too cumbersome for INEC, really, and it must be decentralized.
Then that's all those things that what we look into. That yes, can INEC do this? Then we'll say, okay, the INEC can just be in charge of conducting election. Some other body will be in charge of ensuring that the various infrastructures or logistics are taken care of. Some other people are in charge of administration. Some other body is in charge of this voter card reader thing. Those who, maybe somebody who is vast in ICT. Those people who are vast in this ICT business. Not a lawyer who knows nothing about this thing. Somebody who is trained. God forbid that somebody who is not a lawyer will come and head the chambers. God forbid, I'm a lawyer. I can't come here now, despite my relation, my knowing some little thing about media, coming to studios and so on, to now know the language of journalists, except I go to the School of Journalism. So people who are round pegs must be put in round holes in this thing so that Nigeria can move forward. We always say, and my sister some few minutes ago said it too, elections are conducted in other climes. We don't have these issues.
But one of the issues that pervaded this process was that of election security. Mm-hmm. While, of course, the police has always been seen to be, said to be the lead agency, the lead security agency, mm-hmm. but with the other agencies being bandied and being talked about, how do you see that playing out in the coming elections?
It's part of it.
Especially because we don't have enough policemen.
It's part of it. There will be another. These are all the issues that we look at. Just as I said, election observers, normally our work is to observe the election, document everything that has happened, then we have a meeting, we compare notes, and we pass it to INEC. Then it is the duty of INEC to work on all these reports. And thank God for this Mahmoud Yakubu regime. I guess it started from Jaka's regime that they will be calling us for meetings, having our views, our inputs, and so on. For your information, of course, the police is the lead security agent. But to all intents and purposes, you see fingers always pointing at the soldiers. Then we'll look at it. What role are they to play? Are we to leave the soldiers out of it? Then the voter education department of INEC, will it be strengthened more that it comes up on a regular basis. Thank God, if you agree with me, before, continuous voter education was just in their rules and regulation. They don't have it. But now we had it this time. So can we empower the voter education department of INEC to be more active, for them to engage the people? We see them going on the streets, competing with all civil society groups. The party monitoring, yes, they have a party monitoring department. How effective is the party monitoring department in INEC? How strong are the structure, those who now go and look at the structures of the political party? Is there anybody that brings a document? Do they have a way of auditing or checking, their background check on them? All these things are issues that we look at. Then we now look at this entire gamut of the whole arrangement. Before you come out with timelines, are you sure of your logistics? Are you sure that you won't give us a date and again you do what? You postpone elections? All these things are things that we have to talk about.
Okay. There are a lot of new entrants in this process. How do you...
You mean the candidates?
Yes.
I'm suspecting Ayo.
There are many of them in this process, both as candidates and as voters.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you? But let's talk about the candidate. How do you rate of? How do you think they fared so far, or are faring?
Well, somebody was telling me it's their right. They have the constitutional right to come out and aspire to any office in the land. Yes. But my pain is that indeed they just overbloated the system, the ballot, and even the space. And that's why I've been saying it, and I hope some people are listening, that for you to be on the ballot, you must have gotten a required number of percentage representation in your local community. And it starts from the local. If you want to contest, you must start. We must have a starting point. Not that everybody will go up. If not, just as you said off here some few seconds ago, then we'll have close to 50,000 candidates contesting for the office of president. Then we'll make a laughing stock and a mockery of the whole thing. To be honest, my mother-in-law was telling me at home that, what nonsense, this is too much, it's mockery. Because, you know, if somebody comes out on air, I'll say, this one is the presidential candidate. Say, this one? Another one will come up again and say, this one is the presidential candidate. Man. She said, this one, who knows him? Who will vote for him? And it's as bad as that. And my mother-in-law is an enlightened woman who is on the news. So if an enlightened woman who was an educationist before she retired can say such, you can imagine the poor and the unelected person in the village. It doesn't matter.
What happened to the 51% of youth population in this election?
They are on the social media. They are busy voting on the social media.
They had their PVCs. They collected their PVCs.
They are busy voting on the social media, or they are playing football. And this is the result now.
Are you disappointed, though, that as Professor Oyebode shared with us here, that the youth have not seen the light yet?
Yes.
Even though we have the not too young to run bill in place, they have failed to see the relevance of, working and gathering themselves together to come out with a consensus candidate that they can run with for the future of this country, knowing that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes, and their tomorrow starts now.
Why did it fail?
It failed because of ambition and nonchalance and lack of capacity. It's not about, you see, politics is a big issue. It's another thing entirely. It's another terrain. It's not something you just go in, and politics is not an aluta thing. It's not a student union thing. This is big issue. How to build bridges, how to get people, how to talk to people. The youths, how have they galvanized the thought of the youths? How have they spoken to them? Trump, as old as he was able to galvanize the thought of the rural dwellers. They were voting for him. What have you done? How have you spoken to the youths about their future? It's not about saying, I will create jobs, I will want to take it back. How do you want to take it back? How do you want to create jobs? What are the assurances? What are the things on ground that will make them to say, we believe in this man and we are going for him? And of course, set up, I'm a pastor. And we do, in the church, we do what we call evangelism. And evangelism is that you talk to people. You go meeting them where they are. I don't sit down in the church and expect crowd to come. I have to work on those congregants.
But they have followers on the social media.
Do we have polling units? I just said it. Do we have polling units on the social media? That is one. Two, how many are these people? Are they up to 1 million?
Some of them have up to 500,000.
Okay, where are these 500 people on the polling unit for the ballot now? Where are they? Deleting themselves? Gisting? That's gisting on the social media. The actual thing is relating with them. Then when you relate with them, they will say, oh, is that man? Is all right. Ah, he's my man, oh. This is what he said, oh. Then these 500,000 people that they are followers on the media, if they now relate with them physically, will begin to talk to the mamas, to the organizers, to the taxi drivers, to the carpenters, to the market women, to the professionals that are their colleagues. That's how the gospel, according to this new political movement, will spread. Let me quickly come in. When all the elections were coming, of course, some of us started meeting the idea of a third force. I even came on air to say it. Before we know it, one man just hijacked it. And that is straight to be hijacking ideas. He hijacked it and said, yeah, he's moving it. And before we knew it, and the third force was supposed to be that force for the young people. And before we knew it, gerontocrats again took over. And we saw it that, but again, they were not able to manage it. But that's why I said the race for the future starts now. And I hope the youths, particularly all these youths, are watching and listening. Let us start working towards that third force now. Because we can't continue like this.
Can we walk towards the third force again because it's failed?
No, it can't fail. It's a work in progress too. I'm sorry, I'm an optimist. That's what brought me to this studio. I'm alive because I'm an optimist.
It was the hope for the young people.
Yes.
But a lot of them see it now as it was a pack of cards. It all fell apart, and it was used to cajole us and then leave us high and dry.
I'm talking like an experienced person per se. If a woman has a miscarriage, she won't say she won't try again to have another baby. She will try. So the third force, if we say it is a miscarriage, has even been flushed out of the woman's womb. So now let's start the process all over. Let's see where it will take us. We can't say we give up, or do we give up? No.